On the day of her PhD defense, Emily scanned the audience for the two faces she'd waited years to see proud. They weren't there.
2 rows back, center section where they should have been, empty.
She adjusted her notes and ignored the hollow space where her parents should have been. Then she began, her voice steady, answering with the precision of 6 years' work. The empty chairs in the front row felt like a verdict. She answered 3 rounds of questions without stumbling, her voice hardening into something almost defiant.
Did they even remember the date?
When the committee chair nodded, Emily exhaled, as if she'd been holding her breath for years. The words "congratulations" doctor landed in the silent room like a stone in still water, and through it all the 2 chairs stayed empty, a testament to a choice she hadn't yet fully understood. 2 weeks earlier, in her parents' living room, the phone rang.
Emily, is that you? Your mother was just saying she hadn't heard from you in a while.
Robert, tell her we've been worried. Ask if she's eating enough. The image of the 2 empty chairs in the defense room flickered through her mind. Mom, Dad, I need to know, are you coming to my defense next Friday? It's the most important day of my career. Oh, sweetheart, it's such a long drive. 9 hours each way with your father's back acting up again. 9 hours was only an obstacle when it involved her. For anything else, they'd leave before sunrise.
And your mother can't handle the trip. We'd just be in the way.
I understand. It's a long way, don't worry about it.
She lowered the phone, and the quiet in her apartment felt heavier than the excuses. The silence after that phone call held decades of smaller refusals.
Every spring recital, 15 years, they never missed one. Front row, video recording, flowers.
But the year Emily's project won the regional science fair, the calls went unanswered.
She'd waited in the gymnasium with her project board until the janitor told her to leave.
Nicole's performances were family legend. Emily's milestones were forgotten by the next morning.
College graduation. They left before her name was called. A long drive back, they said.
The camera in their hands always pointed toward the stage, never toward her.
She'd stopped expecting different, but the PhD defense was supposed to be the one they wouldn't skip.
The weight of that pattern settled in her chest like a stone she'd carried through every achievement. And still, she had dialed the number. After the defense, Jacob took her to their favorite restaurant, a quiet booth in the back.
To Dr. Emily Chen. 6 years of work. You did it.
She wanted to feel triumphant, but the image of those 2 empty chairs wouldn't leave her mind.
She picked up her phone to capture the champagne toast, but a notification from Nicole's Instagram froze her thumb. Nicole had posted a backstage selfie in a tutu, captioned, "Recital day. So grateful my parents drove 9 hours to be here."
9 hours. The same drive they'd claimed was impossible for her defense.
The post was tagged at the Lakeland Theater, timestamped just 2 hours ago, right when her committee had been deliberating.
Emily? What's wrong? Your face just went pale.
They drove it. They drove 9 hours today for Nicole's recital.
She set the phone face up on the table so the evidence couldn't be unseen. The betrayal was no longer a suspicion, it was time-stamped and public. The next morning, an email from the university alumni office landed in Emily's inbox. Subject: Alumni reception livestream, you're invited to speak. The body asked for a 30-second acknowledgement to share with the department.
A live-streamed thank you? They couldn't even be bothered to show up, and now they want me to perform for a camera?
Not for them. For the people who actually showed up. Your advisor, your friends, let them see you. It doesn't have to be about your parents.
He wasn't wrong. But the words she really wanted to say weren't thank yous.
Jacob saw the silence stretch and didn't push. He just squeezed her shoulder and walked to the kitchen.
30 seconds. Enough time to say something nobody could object to, but everyone would understand.
You don't have to decide now, but don't close that door out of anger.
She closed the laptop, but the idea had already taken root. A single sentence could say everything without naming anyone. The invitation sat in her inbox, and for the first time, she considered using a public platform for something other than gratitude. Late into the night, Emily and Jacob stayed up, the anger still raw.
15 years of recitals. They never missed one. But they couldn't remember the date of my defense.
Silence means you swallow it forever. Speaking means you become the villain. There's no clean answer.
Villain or invisible? She'd been invisible for years. Perhaps it was finally time to be the villain.
She crossed to her desk, opened a notebook, and started writing.
She wrote, "My family could not be here due to a competing prior commitment. Nicole's amateur ballet recital, 2 p.m., Lakeland Theater. My sister Nicole's ballet recital, 2 p.m., Lakeland Theater. Factual, not emotional."
It's not a lie, but it will still explode.
A grenade is what they deserve, but I'm not sending it yet.
The sentence remained in her notebook, each reading making the choice feel less like an option and more like a countdown. By morning, the notebook was open beside her laptop. She typed the acknowledgement, line by line, into the reply field.
She paused over the sentence that named Nicole's recital specifically. Her finger hovered above the send key.
She read it once, then clicked send, as if waiting would make it untrue.
Now it was in the dean's office system. No undo, no edit, and soon, no hiding.
She stood in front of the living room mirror and practiced.
And finally, I want to note that my family could not be here due to a competing prior commitment. My sister Nicole's ballet recital, 2 p.m., Lakeland Theater.
She repeated it until the emotion drained from her voice, leaving only precision.
This will sound like a footnote. The audience will move on, but anyone who knows will hear a scream.
She picked up her phone and saw the automated confirmation from the alumni office.
2 days until the stream. No turning back. The grenade was finally live.
The Lakeland Theater marquee glowed in the afternoon sun as Robert pulled into the parking lot, 5 minutes before curtain.
We made it with time to spare. Nicole would never forgive a late arrival.
She knows we wouldn't miss this for the world. 15 years and we've never let her down.
Backstage, Nicole stretched in front of a mirror, her tutu stiff with starch, a string of good luck texts lighting her phone.
Mom and Dad are front row, just like always. I'm so glad they could make it all the way here.
Robert and Margaret found their seats, center section, row C, the same ones they'd claimed every spring since Nicole was 7.
Remember when she danced the solo in Swan Lake? Today's piece is even more ambitious.
The house lights dimmed. Nicole glided onto the stage, arms lifted, her parents' applause loudest in the second row. Not once did they check their phones to see how Emily's defense had gone. They were exactly where they'd always chosen to be front row for Nicole, empty chairs for Emily. While Nicole danced, across 2 time zones, the university's alumni hall was being rigged for broadcast. A camera operator adjusted the focus on the podium, a red light blinking above the lens.
Emily arrived early, pulling her blazer straight. Her phone showed 0 messages from her parents. She'd expected nothing, and still the silence landed like a confirmation.
Emily, I was just reading your acknowledgement. Your family must be so proud.
Yes, it's a big day for everyone.
Emily excused herself and took a seat near the front, her heart a metronome against her ribs.
22 empty chairs in the front row today, but for once she wasn't scanning them for 2 familiar faces.
The stream technician called the 5-minute signal.
The sentence was already in the dean's hand. In minutes, it would be in the air.
The dean stepped to the podium, smiling at the camera, her voice warm and practiced.
Now, I'm honored to introduce Dr. Emily Chen, who will share a few words about her doctoral journey. Emily, the floor is yours.
Emily rose, smoothed her blazer, and walked to the microphone. The red light on the camera blinked steadily.
Thank you, Dean Holloway. I want to thank my advisor, Dr. Patel, my partner Jacob, and my lab mates, Mia, David, and Sarah. And finally, I want to note that my family could not be here due to a competing prior commitment. My sister Nicole's amateur ballet recital, today at 2 p.m., Lakeland Theater.
The dean paused, her smile tightening almost imperceptibly before she nodded for the next speaker.
There it was, a grenade with a bow. Now the countdown belonged to whoever had been listening.
She stepped down, heart hammering, and took her seat among the other graduates.
Her phone stayed dark, but in her mind the clip was already traveling through the stream, into the family chat, into the hands of every relative who'd never asked.
The sentence was no longer hers to control. The stream continued, indifferent, carrying her quiet reckoning with it. At the Lakeland Theater, the house lights rose for intermission. Margaret pulled out her phone as the applause for Nicole's first piece faded. A notification from the university's alumni page read, "Watch Dr. Emily Chen's acknowledgement, now streaming." She tapped it. For a few seconds, she watched with the same distracted smile she wore for any post about Emily's career. Then Emily's voice reached the sentence, and Margaret's expression snapped into something unrecognizable.
She named it. The recital. The theater. The time. Everyone who sees this will know we chose a ballet over a PhD.
She replayed it, her finger trembling over the screen, as if a second viewing would change the words.
Margaret, you're white as a sheet. What's on that phone?
It's Emily. She put the recital in her thank you speech. The live stream. She told everyone we were here instead of there.
She wouldn't. Not publicly. Let me see.
The intermission announcement called the second act, but neither parent moved. The video sat paused, a still frame of Emily's calm face frozen on Margaret's screen. Across town, Lisa sat cross-legged on her bed, the alumni live stream playing on her laptop.
Lisa watched intently, phone in hand, ready to post a proud cousin message.
But when Emily's sentence landed, Lisa froze, hand over her mouth, eyes wide. She fumbled for her phone, hit record, and captured the last seconds of Emily's speech. The clip landed in the family group chat with the caption, "OMG Emily just called out Aunt Margaret and Uncle Robert on the live stream." Within 30 seconds, the chat ignited. Wait, they skipped her PhD for a ballet recital? In the same day? A cousin typed. Honestly, good for Emily. Somebody had to say it.
Lisa scrolled through the chaos, heart pounding, half thrilled, half terrified.
Margaret's phone vibrated in her hand, flooding with notifications, but she couldn't look away from the frozen screen. The second act began, but Margaret's eyes stayed on the chat, each new message a small betrayal.
No one was asking if Emily was okay, they were asking why her parents weren't there. The narrative had flipped. She typed, then deleted. We had a prior commitment. Emily knew that, but the words felt hollow even to her.
Across town, Emily checked her phone after the reception. 17 texts and 5 missed calls from her parents crowded the screen.
The texts were a litany. You ruined Nicole's day. Explanation now. She didn't read them all.
She silenced notifications, then declined an incoming call and watched the screen go dark.
Silence was the only answer they'd taught her. She'd just finally learned to use it for herself.
Jacob raised an eyebrow from across the room, and she shook her head. Not yet. He understood. At the theater, Margaret sat rigid as Nicole took her bow, the applause a distant roar compared to the storm in her phone. That night, Emily placed her phone face down on the table. For the first time, the quiet felt like freedom. In the week that followed, Margaret called her sisters one by one, voice bright with rehearsed indignation.
Emily blindsided us. She knew we had the recital. We've never missed one of Nicole's. It's not like we didn't support her.
But her sister Susan's voice came back flat. Margaret, she defended her PhD and you chose a dance show. People notice.
One by one, the conversations ended with clipped goodbyes. Even family wasn't rushing to her defense.
Robert came home each evening and retreated to his study without a word. The silence between them grew thick.
I don't know what to say to you right now, Margaret. Every time I open my mouth, it makes it worse.
Nicole posted a story that night, so grateful for parents who always show up, even when other people try to make them feel bad. She tagged the Lakeland Theater and added a heart emoji. But the comments under her previous posts were already filling with questions. 3 relatives stopped returning Margaret's calls that week. The silence at the other end of the line was a rebuke louder than any argument. Margaret sat in the living room, phone in hand, and realized for the first time that the family she'd curated might not be on her side. Aunt Carol watched the family chat scroll in silence, the accusations and defenses all too familiar. Then she picked up her phone. She dialed Emily's number, half expecting it to ring out.
Emily, it's Aunt Carol. I saw the live stream. I didn't realize how much they'd been missing. I'm sorry.
Emily stared at the missed call notification, thumb hovering over the voicemail. She pressed play and held the phone to her ear, eyes already glistening.
I should have asked sooner. You deserved better than invisible.
Aunt Carol's voice cracked on the last word. Somebody finally saw it.
Emily set the phone down gently, not blocking the number but not redialing.
One apology wouldn't rebuild a childhood, but it was the first brick she hadn't thrown alone.
She looked at Jacob, reading on the couch, and for the first time in weeks, her shoulders dropped. By Friday, Margaret could no longer pretend the silence was an oversight. 3 numbers she had dialed for years rang straight to voicemail.
She left a 7th message for her sister Susan, voice straining, "Please call me back. This is being blown out of proportion."
But the only response was the echo of her own voice.
Margaret threw the phone onto the couch and turned to Robert. "She embarrassed us publicly, and now my own sisters won't speak to me. This is Emily's doing."
Robert stood by the window, not turning. Maybe she had a point, Margaret. We've missed a lot of her things.
Margaret froze mid-sentence. "Are you taking her side?"
I'm not taking sides. I'm just tired of pretending we did nothing wrong.
The room fell quiet, the only sound the hum of the refrigerator. Margaret stared at the silent phone, the weight of isolation pressing in. For the first time, Robert's doubts stung worse than the relative's silence. Days later, another text from Margaret lit up Emily's phone. The message felt less like a plea and more like a door slamming shut. It read, "Answer or don't. Either way, you've made your point. Your father is barely speaking to me. Are you happy now?"
She read it 3 times, each pass peeling away another layer of childhood hope. For years she'd waited for an apology. Instead, she got accused of causing the rift she'd never asked for.
Emily opened her contacts and, without drama, blocked both her parents' numbers. The action was quiet, final, and cost more than she expected.
No door was left open this time, not even a crack, and for a long moment she just breathed.
Then she dialed Aunt Carol's number, the first call she'd initiated in weeks.
Hello, Emily, sweetheart. Is that you? I was hoping you'd call. I've been so worried.
I'm ready to talk, Aunt Carol, but I'm not ready to forgive them. Not yet.
Emily spoke with Aunt Carol for over an hour, that first call about the defense, the recital, and all the years in between.
Your mother won't pick up my calls either. Now, she's telling people I'm taking sides.
You're not taking sides. You're just seeing what was always there.
After they hung up, Emily opened the department's alumni archive page and watched the live stream again, her sentence now a permanent part of the record. The view count had climbed past 800. In the comments, someone from the extended family had written, "I didn't realize this was still happening." That week, Aunt Carol told Emily that 3 cousins had quietly blocked Margaret's contact altogether, tired of the justifications. Emily didn't post a follow-up. She didn't send a single message to her parents. The silence was the entire point.
The clip existed unchanging, irrefutable. A footnote that would outlast every excuse her parents could invent.
In the weeks that followed, Aunt Carol became a bridge, not to reconciliation, but to the family Emily still wanted, the ones who finally asked. And in that archive, a single sentence told the story her family would rather forget, but never could. Margaret stopped leaving messages for her sisters altogether. The silence on her phone became a permanent ache, something she wore visibly. Robert retreated into his work, leaving early and returning late, the accusation of just a dance show ricocheting in his mind. Nicole's social media feed, once a gallery of applauding faces, began to hollow out. Comments that once celebrated now asked questions she couldn't answer. The archived live stream passed 2,000 views. A stranger in the comments wrote, "This is the most dignified takedown I've ever seen."
I didn't need to add a single word. The truth was enough.
Your mother called me yesterday angry. She said I broke the family. I told her the family was already broken. She just didn't notice.
I never asked anyone to take sides. I just stopped pretending.
That evening, the university published a spotlight article on new PhDs. Emily's photo sat at the top, and the caption mentioned her memorable acknowledgement. She didn't share the article with her parents. She didn't need to. The archive was its own distribution network. The silence, once a wound, had become a fortress, and inside it, Emily was finally home. That spring, Emily helped Aunt Carol plant a vegetable garden. Their hands moved in the soil, and the conversation was light, full of small plans.
Your mother called again. Nicole's summer recital is coming up. She asked if I'd come, said they won't be able to make it this year.
I expected to feel something, anger, satisfaction, but there was just quiet. The kind of quiet you don't need to fill.
The alumni archive page had been featured in the department's orientation materials. Her acknowledgement was now a case study in graceful resolution. The view count ticked past 3,000. A new comment appeared. I'm defending next month and my parents already canceled. This made me feel less alone.
That single sentence wasn't just for her. It was for everyone who'd ever been second choice, and it had done exactly what it needed to.
On a Friday evening, Jacob and Emily cooked together, music playing low. Her phone buzzed with a text from Aunt Carol, but no other name she dreaded.
Dinner next Thursday? I'll make the roast. You bring the wine.
Margaret's number stayed blocked. Emily no longer checked. The question of whether she'd unblock it someday wasn't urgent enough to answer. The archive held a single sentence, a permanent record not of revenge, but of a truth that could no longer be ignored. And that was more than enough. The seasons turned. Emily's postdoc started, her days filled with data and students who asked questions with bright eyes.
You're going to be one of those professors who stays late for every student, aren't you?
Maybe somebody should.
She kept the blocked numbers blocked. The alumni page remained bookmarked on her laptop, but she rarely opened it now.
The sentence had done its work. It didn't need her attention anymore.
One morning, she stood by the window, coffee steaming in her hands, and let the silence wrap around her like a second skin. The empty chairs from her defense room had once been a verdict. Now they were just chairs, just a memory of something she'd finally put down. She didn't need revenge to continue. She needed only the truth. And the truth was, she had become exactly the person she was supposed to be, without permission, without an audience. The empty chairs had finally, mercifully, become just chairs. Emily walked across campus on a Thursday afternoon, the autumn leaves crunching under her boots. She had a class to teach in 20 minutes. She no longer scanned the faces of passing students, hoping to spot someone who'd come for her. That reflex had faded like an old scar.
She had said what needed saying, then stepped back. The silence had done the rest.
The archived clip remained online, its view count now a quiet number, a footnote in the history of a department, and the biography of a family. In their kitchen that evening, Jacob attempted a risotto, and Emily teased him about his stirring technique. They laughed, easily.
She was no longer the daughter who waited to be chosen. She was just Emily.
And that, she had learned, was more than enough. The truth she'd spoken didn't need her to enforce it. It simply stood. And somewhere, in a quiet corner of the internet, the record held proof that a single sentence could be both a mirror and a shield. Emily closed her laptop, kissed Jacob on the forehead, and went to bed.